I'm Patrick Howell O'Neill with CyberScoop. I'm here at CyberTalks with Tom Gann from McAfee. Thank you for joining us, Tom.
Yeah.
We are 10 months into 2017 and a few weeks into Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and so naturally there have been just an enormous amount of security incidents this year. We probably thought 2016 was going to be a high water mark. And so it has a lot of organizations in private and public industry thinking, how can we approach this problem? And at McAfee, you are the Chief Public Policy Officer. What do you think is a good advice that you give these organizations in how they should change the way that they're thinking about cybersecurity?
Well, you know, one of the critical issues, first and foremost, is for organizations to think about their top-line strategy. Cyber today is a CEO issue, it's a board issue, and that requires thought and focus across the board. It starts with a strategy. You've got to get the CEO and board members invested and involved. You need to flow it down through the VP ranks. You need to put in place the right processes so that you can actually deliver results. Now, by results, I mean you've got to have a great system of blocking and tackling. You also need a cyber risk framework so that you can actually move your organization up the maturity model. But at the end of the day, it's something that you've got to work every day to produce success on.
So you were talking about kind of a whole of organization approach from top to bottom, which I think transitions nicely into the question about the cybersecurity talent gap, which is in and of itself a top to bottom problem. So how do organizations that you deal with, and then on a larger scale, how does the country deal with the problem of not being able to have the individuals to fill the jobs necessary?
So the talent gap today in cyber is something that's well known, it's been studied, it's been documented. In terms of public sector organizations, government really needs to double down on attracting good talent, compensating them properly, creating tech tracks so technologists can advance rapidly, making sure that they get on the ground training that's effective, and creating an environment where innovation can happen, pulling out as many layers of bureaucracy as possible. These are good starts. On the private sector side, we've been very supportive of creating partnerships with universities, colleges in the areas in which we operate, putting in place good internships, co-ops, so that we can bring talented people in early so that we can identify them, nurture them, and move them forward. You know, the last thing I'd say is the government's done a wonderful job in the area of cybersecurity scholarships run by the National Science Foundation. We think that's a program that needs to be greatly expanded. The opportunity for young people to earn scholarship money year by year in exchange for investments on a year-by-year basis in public service, we think that's a win-win for everybody.
So in terms of building, applying, and expanding solutions to this problem, are there models, organizations, countries that you look at and say they're doing it the right way or we can learn from them?
You know, Israel has done a very, very good job of creating partnerships with the private sector and government on cyber training. You see it more and more every day with the many wonderful startups that are popping up out of Israel. And I think it really starts from the mentality of putting cyber into the curriculum of schools, universities, and then also the armed services. So I think Israel is an excellent example.
So when we talk about McAfee and dealing with organizations of various stripes, there's a tendency to be reactive, right, with this problem. How, in your opinion, should organizations be more proactive when approaching cybersecurity?
Well, it starts from a leadership point of view. It starts from blocking and tackling. But I think one of the most essential elements is getting the mix right between individuals and technology. There are a lot of innovations occurring today in the area of machine learning where you can automate functions. If you do that, you can get the power of analytics from big learning software and analytics from individuals, analysts who more and more are too few in supply to actually deliver better, faster results.
So one of the most common complaints or constructive feedback that I receive from practitioners, people really in the practice every day, about how cybersecurity gets published about in media, gets talked about in the public, is that there's often a focus on the bad news and there's a lack of focus on the good news. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but what I wanted to do was ask someone like yourself to highlight what kind of good advances and good news is happening right now in the industry and in the public practice as well.
So in the area of cyber, there really is a lot of great news, starting off with the fact that cybersecurity from a policy point of view is still an incredibly bipartisan issue. And we've seen that in the past with the passage of information sharing in 2015. We've seen that recently in the progress from the IT management bill. And then we see it also with the kind of support the administration's getting from the Hill on its executive order on cyber and IT modernization. Moving forward, what we want to see is a continued focus on cyber as a bipartisan issue, get the leadership elements right, get the budget elements right, and continue to drive through real operational change.
That's perfect. Tom, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Patrick Howell O'Neill. Check out more on cyberscoop.com.
Great.